Hello and welcome. This is John Mason. I'm the main facilitator of Masters of the Journey. And today we are going to be speaking with Raven Many Voices. Raven Many Voices is a well-known and gifted spiritual counselor, intuitive, medium, and teacher. She has been providing spiritual guidance to people seeking wisdom for over 20 years. And today she's going to be talking a little bit about the upcoming workshop we're going to be doing on healing and consciousness development with crystals and minerals. Well, hello and welcome again. My name is John Mason. I'm with Raven Many Voices. I've already given a little bit about her background, but I needed to also say that she's had training and experience with lots of different traditions and spiritual realms. And she tends to be a voice for spirit. She's attuned to working with ascended masters, angelic realms, and ancestors and earth spirits. And she provides the service in healing ourselves, our community, and our planet. She applies these teachings through writing energetic gemstone healing, spiritual counseling, and sacred ceremonies. So she's really a wealth of information. I'm just getting to know her. And for our interview today, I need to say that we have a little bit of a delay because of technology. So if there's some pauses, it's a technical thing, and it's not because we're not working together well. So first, let me welcome you, Raven Many Voices. And I wanted to ask you how you got started in the work that you do, and specifically in working with crystals and minerals, which you're going to make a presentation on January 20th up in Bellingham about. So welcome. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. Wow, where to start? For a lot of us, we have the lights turned on, or we have an event or an epiphany, or maybe we have a car accident or a health crisis, something that really makes us turn our hearts and minds towards spirit. For some of us, we're born that way. We're born with our lights on. We're born with those gifts of talking to spirit. And that has been my case. I've been able to see spirits and talk to them and talk to nature since I was very little, which made my childhood very interesting. And my challenge was to be able to talk about what I saw to other people. So that has been my challenge and my joy for over 40 years. And I've been assisting and helping people for over 20. And to help along the way, I found that stones and gemstones and crystals have really helped me in that journey. Because when you can go to the other realms, talk with angels, you have a hard time being in the body sometimes. So stones have been very grounding and comforting for me. And I guess I started when I could barely toddle. When I was barely 2 years old, my parents would take me to the beach and I would shove rocks down my diaper. So I've been working with stones since I was a baby.
Well, lots of us have been to the beach as children and found stones that we were attracted to. Do they somehow speak to you? I mean, do you feel them energetically, or do you know something about them that people who are not as tuned in as you are may overlook? Do you have a special feeling that goes along with them?
Most definitely. Stones or stone people, because a lot of indigenous people around the world see them as their own nation or beings. And these beings, these stones of the earth, are breathing, growing, and evolving and changing. If you study geology, you realize that stones are constantly growing and changing. We don't see it because we're so quick in our life compared to them, but they really still are changing and growing. So they have a language, and it's really by feel and vibration. That's how we feel it. So when you find that stone on the beach that catches your eye and you have to pick it up and put it in your pocket, it's because that stone is literally singing to your vibration to help you. Or if you stub your toe over that rock on the path, it's trying to get your attention to try to help you. And sometimes you're helping it because stones get bored at looking at the same point of view. So we oftentimes get drawn to them to pick them up, and we move them so that they can view something different. When we throw it back into the water, into a pond or a lake, or we trip over it, the stone is actually thanking you because it got to move. So their name for us is the two-legged movers.
Really? Wow, the two-legged movers. And I was just talking to you before. I have an altar here, and I brought in all these stones in out of the cold, and they're living in my house so that I can have them dry and warm during the cold months of the year. I didn't know that. That's terrific. So they all have their own soul and spirit, and this is like a very primitive belief that we are in the world, and the world it's not just made up of individual human beings. Everything that lives and exists has a soul or spirit. Is that correct?
Exactly. Everything has a spirit, everything has a purpose, everything has a spark, something to add to creation. And that includes the Stone Nation too. So when you begin to slow yourself down to listen through the heart, you start to actually hear their song, their language. So that's the vibration or the song of the stones.
Thank you. That's amazing. And we're getting ready to do this workshop on January 20th. That's in 2019. And we're going to be doing this in Bellingham. And you graciously said that you would come up to Bellingham and chat. Can you tell me what that might look like? How can people prepare for that? Should they bring anything with them? And you know, what would they expect from the presentation that you're going to be making?
Well, one of the things that I do is, from all the wonderful teachings and wisdom that I've learned over the years from different indigenous elders, is I'm a keeper for medicine wheel teachings, meaning that I have a 50-foot medicine wheel in my backyard made of stones from around the world. And I was taught on how to put these stones together for healing. So I make a smaller version with crystals and stones that I bring to workshops so that people can really feel the vibration of the stones and feel what it feels like when they're in a circle, in a hoop. So if you think about it, from primitive times, we have celebrated stones in a circle. We put stones around a fire pit. We put stones around our house to make our walls, our foundation. We have always gathered stones to make our walls around our fields, our property. They've always gathered around us. So when you put stones together in a circle, they talk to each other, and that song, that voice gets stronger. So to prepare is to really open yourself up to hear those stones, and maybe look around your house. You might have a stone or a crystal, maybe something that's been sitting on the shelf for a long time, and maybe it's time to wake up. Maybe it's time for you to integrate or connect with that crystal. So this would be a really beautiful workshop to bring that crystal or stone with you, to join it with the others in a circle and get it activated, to get it charged, to let it have a really strong voice. It might be a good time to identify. Maybe you have a stone that you're not quite sure what it is. We'll have lots of people there. You might be able to identify a stone that you're working with. And more importantly, you'll learn the very simple ways, even if you don't have stones, learn how you can take common beach stones and make them into powerful medicine pieces to assist you in your healing and focus. Because that's what this year is all about, 2019. It's about being here in the body. It's about navigating in the physical. And for a lot of us that are very busy in our mind, we need anything that we can get that can help us to ground and to be focused in the here and now. So those stones and crystals, that's part of what I want to really show people, is how to do simple healing without getting caught up in all the the XYZs of what each stone means. Really, you can tune into any stone and hear what it can do for you if you just listen to your heart. So that's what we'll focus on in the workshop, finding those stones, making that connection, and getting that healing and focus that you need to live here and now.
That is spectacular. That I am really even more excited now than I was before, because for the last more than a year, people have been saying, are we going to do a program or have an interest group meet around crystals and minerals? And I said, I don't know anything about it. And until I walked into the bookstore where we met, I didn't know. I kept inviting people, but nobody said they'd show up. So thank you. Thank you. This is going to be perfect. And we're going to encourage people to come on Sunday the 20th.
Perfect timing too.
And to meet you. And I'm going to do just a little bit more of a commercial about you right now, because even though we're meeting about crystals and minerals for healing and for consciousness, you also really have a lot of information about dragons and empowering your life for positive change. You can do inner soul counseling, understanding your inner soul guides. Are you an earth angel is one of the topics that you speak about. You do angelic Reiki, and you want to know about why your ancestors matter. And this was one that really leaped out at me because I have no experience with that. You do a program about healing with crystal skulls, and you also do house blessings and how to clear your space. So these are the kinds of services that you offer and the information that you have. I know that we'll have more interviews in the future so that we can add to this library and get more of your wisdom and find out more about how you can be of service by creating awareness and perspective for people. And perhaps we can have you back for other meetings if it's appropriate and it works well for all of us. So I'm really excited about what's coming up on the 20th. And do you have any examples of crystals or minerals that are with you that you'd like to just give us just a little bit of a background about?
Oh, definitely. There's lots of different things, and be open to where you find your crystals and gems. I mean, you can there's amazing bookstores out there that carry a selection of crystals and gems, but even toy stores sometimes have little bins of crystals and things. And I have to admit, some of my best gems and stuff I've found at really strange places. They've come to me or have been gifted to me. So I find them out in nature. There's some really great geology groups in this, rock hounding groups are called here in the Northwest. And you can join these groups and go dig out your own amethyst crystals or garnets or quartz crystals or golden healers. We have our own golden healers right here in Washington. So I'll be sure to add some of that information on the workshop on the 20th too. So really there's, look and see what you have, because out of all my different gemstones, I'll hold one up here. This is a really popular one, especially with the Archangel Michael. This is citrine golden quartz here. It's got that yellow color. This is one of his very favorite crystals because it's self-healing. So a lot of people know that gemstones and rocks, because it does absorb energy, sometimes they need to be cleansed. Citrine is really unique in that it does not need to be cleansed because it literally brings the central sun or that golden light from heavens through the vibration of the crystal, constantly cleansing it. So right now at the beginning of the year, a lot of people are still really struggling of letting go of 2018. A lot of this emotional stuff and reviewing of yourself and your heart, and maybe some not so pleasant patterns that you're trying to let go of. So there's a lot of negativity on all different levels, from political to personal. Citrine is your friend. It brings sunshine into your heart, and it can really help you to let go of the negative storyline and bring the positive in. So here's a good example of a stone that could really help you right now with the energy. So, and again, stones can also be in shapes too. So here's a bear out of golden calcite. So you can also have it carved into a skull which is connects to human consciousness, but you can have your favorite totem or animal that you work with carved by amazing carvers. I have several dragon carvings that I work with too. And sometimes when you have a carving, you have not only the attribute of the stone, but you can have your spirit guide come through that stone too, like the citrine and Archangel Michael. So there's some good examples of stones that they're really like a cup. They hold energy.
You know, I just reached over to my altar and I found the little pink quartz heart, and it's been shaped into a heart. I'm sure it didn't come this way naturally. And I always wondered whether, based on what you just said, sometimes even if they shape that, it can enhance the ability for a person. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely. A raw natural stone, like here's a raw piece of carnelian, is beautiful, but when you have a raw rough stone, the energy is more intense. When it's been polished or shaped, it actually softens the energy. So your rose quartz heart is all about connecting to the heart and self-love. And because it's in the heart shape and it's smooth, it smooths that love energy and that self-loving energy. It makes it more accessible for you. So I oftentimes will have stones both in rough and smooth, depending on what people need. Sometimes they need the real direct kick in the butt, and sometimes they need a real gentle, soft energy.
Wow, thank you. That's an amazing piece of information, because I just thought it was for the tourists when it was smoothed and shaped into a heart, but the way you just placed that information in my consciousness, it really helps a lot. Thank you. So, do you have, anything that you'd like to prepare people when they come to the workshop or they meet you, they want to find out whether they can be healed by either the crystals or the gems or the stones that they have, or the ones that you would send them to get? Do you have any piece of information that you'd like to leave people with as we kind of wind down this interview?
Definitely. Again, just really opening that heart. And remember, when you're working with beings of the earth, so stones, animals, fairies, all those different things, you need to be grounded. So be sure that you get out in nature, even if it's just walking out to the mail. Take a deep breath, smell the air, smell the season, hear the rocks crunching underneath your shoes. Try to connect with nature before you come to work with a workshop, or anytime you're working with stones. You have to meet the Stone Nation halfway. That goes for any of the earth realm. So if you're flying high with all the crazy ideas and things in your head, you need to bring yourself down into the moment. That means get good sleep, have good food, take a deep breath, and be sure to connect with nature.
Thank you. Maybe we'll have a little bit of a grounding circle ritual before your presentation for the people that get to show up for this. I was going to do that anyway, because we sometimes do that, but we're going to do that for sure. And I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing you in person and hearing your presentation and all of the energy and stones that people are going to be bringing with them, so we can celebrate them in a way that will raise all of our consciousness. So really want to thank you so much for that. And like I said, is there any other parting comment that you want to make before we kind of wind this part of the interview down?
It's going to be hard to pick who wants to come, because I can already hear them all cheering from the other room, all my different stones. So I'll be bringing a wide variety of very unique and unusual stones, like a lightning struck quartz crystal and some of my carved beings. So we'll have lots of different ones to pick from, but really I just thank you for this opportunity to say hello to your community, and just know that we all have wisdom within us. We're all street gurus. So don't doubt that wisdom, those experiences you've had, because when we share and we come together in groups, that's how we change the consciousness on the planet. So thank you. And I hope to see you gathered around the circle to share your wisdom, because I am just a student just like you.
Well, and thank you once again for being with us. With the light behind you, you have that golden aura that makes you really special and angelic. Um, I celebrate you for that, but I felt your energy when we met the first time, and it was spectacular. So thank you for agreeing to participate with us. In a moment, I'm going to put up the contact information again so that people can know how to get in touch with you. I think it has a phone number and your website, things like that. So I'll put that up so people can write that down and then really invite them and to participate with you and me and whoever shows up on the 20th of January. Thank you, Raven Many Voices.
Thank you. No problem.
Okay, so here's the contact information for Raven Many Voices. A voice for spirit. We've got her phone number at her website. If you can't wait to talk to her, or you are hearing this after the presentation, please get in touch with Raven Many Voices. See if there's a way that she can be of service to you. And I know that there's more than just the crystals and the gemstones that are in her background. So she's an intuitive, and she can help really get you in touch with ancestors and do some healing around that and put you in touch with your guides and your archangels. So I'm just going to thank her again off camera, and thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing more of you both in person and in future interviews. Thank you, and we're signing off for today.